to Median Gaming. A bit late with this one, but was wanting to just do a quick run through of the new Battle Pass in Season 3. So we'll take a quick look at that and I'll give my thoughts on it. So the first page of this, we get Era, who I think, for my liking, I think she's probably the best skin in the Battle Pass, I think, so far. I quite like this. The black outfit, it looks really cool, and I like things like the timepieces, etc. that she has kind of attached on her, and as we'll see, some of the additional accessories. And I will probably do a playthrough with her fairly shortly as well. But within her page, we get the Era loading screen. Looks okay. I think I've seen better art that they've put out, but still a nice screen nonetheless. The Classic Age wrap, and you can see that's animated, and the timepiece kind of at the end of the gun is spinning around there. The Time Sweeper glider. Now this looks pretty cool in game, and she kind of comes down sat in that, kind of stood up in it. I find it quite interesting as well because it spins so fast. It actually feels like you're heading down a lot quicker than you actually are. So it's a bit deceptive, but yeah, it's another cool glider in the game. The Seize the Future track, which you can probably hear in the background at the moment. Yeah, it's, for me, it's okay. It's one of the better songs, I think, in the catalogue of Fortnite songs. A bit more up my street, I think. And then we have the usual V-Bucks, so 200 V-Bucks on this page. We get the CHRONOS lock back bling, which is quite nice. And again, that kind of just floats there on the back, and you see it is another kind of timepiece ticking away on her. So obviously we can see that Era is quite time related. And then she has this really cool contrail as well. Again, time related, as she pops down and the Roman numerals kind of just popping out the back there in the contrail. This looks really cool. I like this a lot. So onto the page 2. This is where we have the trace wallpaper. I think it looks better than the previous one, so I quite like this one as well. It's quite good. We have a spray, the menacing trace. The NOMAD'S spear, which is kind of cool. It's kind of Trace kind of got this blue thing going on. However, I found this fits Era as well, so I've actually put this on my Era skin. Currently using this, which is quite cool. It's quite a nice splash effect with that as it's swinging as well. We also have the Get Out of Your Mind emote. Kind of just splashing in, I can only assume is slurp, which looks pretty cool. The Psionic Surfer glider, no one coming down on that. Looking better than most, it's something a bit different as well. And the Flutterfall contrail. And again, I think this could be partnered with many a skin, but yeah, it looks quite nice, and you can see there's it looks like butterflies just popping off in the background on that one as well. And then we have the Trace outfit itself, and he's quite animated, and you can see the kind of those blue rippling effects on his skin and clothes. He looks kind of cool. I quite like him. Onto the next page, which is another Trace-centric one. So we have the Rebel Trace loading screen, which is quite nice. Looks a bit more in action there on on his glider. Banner icon, the kind of just a palm there. The Beacon Glass back bling, kind of just floats there. It's okay from my point of view, but I do quite like the Contour Camo wrap. And then we have another emote, the Thinking Trace. And then another version, another skin for Trace in the Rebel Trace pack skin. And this time the kind of blue glowing effect has changed to kind of a luminous green style. blends in quite well with the outfit he's wearing on this. And again, just quite nice looking, quite nice, sleek, and done quite well. Now, next we have Rianne, who I showed this to my daughter, and the first thing she said was, "Isn't this just Dusty from the previous season pass?" Which I almost wouldn't disagree with you. So we've got Rianne there, and she looks very similar to Dusty, if you can remember her. Almost identical, but she has a nice looking wallpaper. She seems to be carrying this kind of flaming pickaxe, which is pretty sweet, and she's kind of a lot of kind of padding and kind of spikes and things like that, so kind of a bit more metal in that sense. Kind of got the flaming guitar emoticon there. The Molten Max pickaxe, so we give that a quick swing. Again, it's kind of the flaming effect when that hits there. It is animated ever so slightly. You can just see the lava flowing down the stem of the pickaxe there. And then she's got the electric shredder back bling, which is quite nice. And then we have Rianne herself. Now, she has multiple outfits in this season pass. So this is the first one, just a standard one. Again, I think she looks like Dusty quite a bit. It's probably the same person, but yeah, the hairstyle, clothing, and everything just blends in quite nicely there, so that's pretty cool. And then onto the second Rianne page with another background loading screen. This time more jungle orientated with that. And as you can see, the style of the pickaxe, the Molten Max axe, has changed to a kind of again that luminous green color. And as you can see, it's still animated with like the green kind of flowing down the stem of the pickaxe there. Give that a quick swing. Yeah, very similar, but obviously in green this time. The banner icon, which is kind of just the logo from her top. BUZZSAW Breacher, which is a kind of a nice glider. Assuming she comes down stood atop it, but that looks quite nice, quite different as well. We'll match in. It's a shame it hasn't got this in so far in the molten red color, but it would match the green jungle style a bit more. The Venom Riff spray, and then the This Is Fine emote. This one I found a bit weird because it's a mixture of gradient and cell shaded, but it seems to work. I think this was advertised in the trailer as well, so yeah, it's quite nice. And lastly for this page, we have the next style of Rianne. So this is the Rock Slide Rianne. And as you can see, she's a bit more jungle orientated in the attire. And again, everything matching quite nicely. Change of hair color. Everything going for that kind of green color here. Next up, we have the Relic. So we've got his loading screen. Again, similar to the era, I'm not 100% keen on the art. It just looks a bit rough around the edges, and I think better could be done. I guess it's just not me being a fan of that kind of art style in that sense. We then have Blow Your Top emoticon, kind of just the exploding volcano. The Rockfall Contrail, which is quite nice. You can kind of see got like two flaming, almost like meteors on your hands there, which is kind of cool. We've got the animated lithic wrap is next. And again, you can just see that molten effect just flowing ever so slightly across the center of the gun there as well. The Signal Tracer back bling. Looks to be slightly animated in the kind of a glitchiness there. It does actually look quite nice. I'm sure that'll probably fit in with quite a number of skins as well. And then lastly, we have Relic himself. I'm not 100% really a big fan of this skin. It looks, I don't know, it doesn't quite work for me. I think most of the body is just a bit too plain. Doesn't seem to flow overly well for me. So I'm hoping there's some better alternate styles to come. And as we say that, the relic is next for another. This is the Deep Walker relic. I think the loading screen here much better than some of the previous ones so far. The banner icon, the Hunter's Reach pickaxe. So this is another two-handed one, which looks quite nice. This pickaxe actually looks really good, and again, I think this will fit in with a number of skins as well, quite nicely. I think the splash on this is really nice. Yeah, it swings and sounds quite nice as well. So I might, once this is unlocked, I might actually update Era and put this alongside her. We've got the Relic Beacons spray. The Sky Scout glider, which looks a bit different, a bit kind of metallic, and yeah, not dissimilar to quite a lot of gliders, but it does look quite nice. And again, the blues and the metallics all fit in quite nicely now. And then we've got the Deep Walker Relic skin. I think this one looks better than the previous one did. Things look a bit better. I think the addition of kind of the cape, the coat he's wearing, kind of adds to the feel. There's a bit more, I think, look of texture and highlighting on the outfit look a bit better as well, and adding in the gold with the blue blends really nicely as well. So I think this is much better than the standard relic skin. Up next is Mariposa, again another kind of remake of an existing skin, but we do have that kind of nice Lucha wallpaper, which looks pretty nice. The Estralita Dynamo emoticon, the CAZADORA wings. These look quite nice actually. They just seem to float there really nicely. There's a slight contrail coming off the tips of the wings as well, which is quite nice, and the color scheme on it is really good, with the purples blending into that silver really well. Up next we've got the new banner icon and the CAZADORA glider. So similar to the wings, it's this kind of nice pinky purple flowing into the metallics, and again looks really quite sweet, and there's that little smoky effect coming off the tips of the wings as well for a contrail. That looks very clean and nice. I like that a lot. And then we have Mariposa herself. This of several outfits for her, in the pink, a bit of a Lucha kind of a stance she's got there, and you can see a kind of a Lucha outfit just under her jacket there as well. But yeah, it's quite a nice looking skin as well. Next up is the Midnight Mariposa. So again, quite a nice Lucha inspired loading screen. The Midnight Rumble spray. The Lucha slashers. So if you quite like the glove based pickaxes, these are quite nice. It's kind of that again smoky contrail effect coming off the end of them, which is quite nice, and quite a nice splash to them as well. And that smoky contrail as you're swinging is pretty cool as well. That's quite nice. Next up, Count It, the emotes. So the usual wrestling 1, 2, 3 count, and then the Midnight Mariposa skin itself. This one I think might have been better as like maybe an additional skin at Halloween or something. Not too keen on this one, but a bit more Lucha wrestling inspired I think this one, but not the biggest fan of this this style. Next up is Lorenzo. So he's got quite a nice almost loading screen, a bit like Indiana Jones like. The Bushwhacked emote. The Adventure Calls track. You can just about hear that. Which you can kind of hear. There's a kind of a jungle adventure vibe within that track, which is quite nice. He's got the Northquest Deluxe back bling, so a compass, which is animated. As you can see, as you're moving along, that compass moves around. The Marauder's Machete pickaxe. We swing that. Seems to be quite a nice contrail on it, and splash as well. Kind of a blue trail with that. And then we get to Lorenzo himself. So I know there's multiple variations of Lorenzo in the Battle Pass. The basic Lorenzo, for me, just looks, again, a bit too plain and not much going on. So not my favourite of the skins in the Battle Pass. Just not an awful lot going on there, to be fair. As we then move to Lorenzo for dashing. So a bit more of an action-based loading screen. You can see his got a jacket mask on as he's riding the dirt bike through the jungle there. The drone drop contrail. You can see the cloud effects popping down, and there's like a little eagle-like drone bird following behind as well. And then we have the Adventure Aerial Glider. This is basically just like a huge compass, and then almost like a hypnotic pattern coming off the back of the wings there. This is another one of those gliders where I'm a bit undecided on it. So I think it's the contrails I'm not overly keen on, but I quite like the idea of having the compass on the glider itself is kind of cool. And as you can see, the compass itself is moving around as the glider does, which is pretty sweet. Next up we have the Lorenzo Explorer's spray, and then the Dramatic Flares emote. So you can say they're kind of trying to guide with the flares in hand. Which fizzles out to nothing. There we go, quite nice. And then Lorenzo for dashing himself. So I think a big improvement over the standard Lorenzo with the addition of the jacket, the mask. I think what really helps is just the colour. The blue just seems to work really well with that, rather than his previous outfit. And again, kind of hair all matching in with that as well, which is nice. Up next with the Iconic Era. So another era loading screen. A banner icon. Another wrap. So this is the Iconic Age. So this is I believe this will be an alternate style to the original one, and you can see that now things are a bit white. You've still got that animated clock ticking around. The Time Swirl spray. The Synchronous Sigh pickaxes. So these are her pickaxes. If we swing these, got that blue contrail with a quite nice sparking kind of splash when that hits there, and you can see the pickaxes, they're both animated there with kind of reminds me almost like from a lighter or something like that, that blue kind of flame effect popping out of them. And then one of my favorites is we have the next skin for Era, the Ancestral Shift, which is done via an emote, which looks really nice. The emote to change this is really good. And with that as well, I think the white version of Era looks really cool. Again, everything fits into this quite nicely. The white works really, really well with the outfit and what she's wearing. Similar to the black, it just looks really nice and clean. So I'm looking forward to being able to open this one. Next up is another Era. It's the Timeless Era. Again, another loading screen. I think one of the things I would have liked, because Era I think is by far my favourite skin this season, would be for her loading screen, the artwork to have been a bit better. But apart from that, everything I think about her is really good. I see some alternate styles now for her back bling, the CHRONOS lock, so kind of that green effect in there. Synchronous Sighs get a colour overhaul, so they're green as well. As you can see, the green flame effect, the sparks and contrails there. The Time Sweeper Glider gets an overhaul in the green style as well. And lastly, we get to the Timeless Era variant, which, given all the green previously, is a bit more minty blue, I would say. There's a little bit of green in there, so I think it's potentially too much green to match in with the skin, but we'll have to have a look at that at some point. But again, the outfit itself looks really nice, really sleek, and just fits all together really well. So yeah. And lastly, the long-rumored Transformers. So here we see the Optimus Prime loading screen. Now this looks really good as Optimus is launching into action. Looks really cool. Can't say much more about that, but yeah, it's just a really nice piece of art. We have the Autobot emblem back bling, which would be quite nice to wear. The G1 Optimus Prime spray, the rollout emoticon, the Cybertronian axe. So we'll give that a big swing. So a couple of sparks on that when it splashes out, and a little bit of a kind of a bluey black kind of contrail on it. Given that I think this is intended for Optimus Prime, maybe something a bit better could have been done. It's not the best pickaxe, certainly in this battle pass, I don't think. And then we have Optimus Prime himself. So he's got a built-in emote as well, I believe. But yeah, he looks really good. And I'm looking forward to being able to play this skin and run it a few times. Potentially, like some of the larger Iron Man skins, it may be too big playing in game, but I think just the ability to be running around as Optimus Prime might just outweigh that, to be fair. I'd probably put this as my second favourite skin of the season, mainly just because Era, I think, just looks absolutely amazing, and as I say, is by far my favourite skin this season so far. So that has been it for this battle pass. Compared to last season, there's bits of it I like better. I think the skins are better this season overall than previous season. The one thing I think was missing is some decent emotes. Last season, one of the things I liked was there was some really good emotes through the battle pass and the varying bonus reward quests. It seems to be something that's lacking quite a bit in this battle pass, and the same with the audio tracks as well. If I'm being honest, potentially too much in the way of loading screens. I would rather drop some of the loading screens, particularly when you've got 2 or 3 for a single character, like Era as an example. I'd rather drop maybe 1 or 2 of those and have a good emote. That's just unfortunate in that sense. But yeah, I think it's overall though, it's a solid battle pass. I think majority of the skins look really good, particularly when you start to get their alternate styles. They really kind of kick into gear. And as I say, Era I think is by far the best skin, followed by Optimus Prime, and then some of the Lorenzos in the alternate styles. As I say, I'll do a playthrough of Era. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. If anything you want to see, let me know, and I'd be interested to see what do you all think of this season's battle pass. Comment below. Thank you very much and have a good day. Bye bye.